I want you guys to meet Anand. Anand and I were together in B school, and Anand was the president of the batch in his B school. And Anand actually is an entrepreneur after a very successful stint at Infosys. He's actually an entrepreneur, and he's one of the founders of a company called Active Cubes, who are into the analytics space. So Anand, perhaps the first question I have for you is, what do you guys do in analytics?
We help companies make more money with the data they already have. So we found, for example, after the entire ERP wave, let's say 2000, 2002, companies sitting on mountains of data, figuring out how they can get actionable business insights. We're not talking IT, we're not talking statistics, we're not talking consulting, we're just talking about business insights. Active Cubes helps you make more money with stuff you already have. No additional CapEx, just OpEx to mine it. And we work with companies across the globe. We've helped the leading rugby team in Australia. We've helped a large beer and beverage company there. We've worked with some large retailers. A plethora of different verticals. And the interesting thing we found as we started doing it is you can take learning from one industry and put it in another. For example, if you want to figure out, should you play Sachin Tendulkar if he's injured in a cricket match, the risk modeling that you use in finance is pretty much what you actually use even in sports. That's not how I would pitch it to a client, of course, but the underlying ethos of how you cross-utilize model or statistical techniques is the same.
Fantastic. So, I mean, it all sounds terribly intellectual and exciting. So, what motivates you? Why did you get into this? You had a very successful stint at Infosys already, and by all accounts, you were doing fantastically well there. So, why this? What is it that you needed to accomplish through getting into this game?
I remember when I was thinking about something like this file, my wife asked me, why is it that you're looking to go out of Infosys? I told her I'm not looking to go out of Infosys, I'm looking to start something different. See, there's a very big difference between the two. And I explored three things. One is if there was a different industry altogether, whether I was an entrepreneur there, whether I was working, whether that would give me satisfaction. I looked into retail. Next, I looked at coffee. I know we're still in a coffee day, but I come from food. So I was looking at backward integrating in a very different way in my grandmother's estate, backward integrating into whatever they had and moving it to the actual products, pretty much like, not like what Coffee Day is doing, but on a much, much smaller scale. That's something I had created a plan for. And this, when Rajesh, who is the founder of Active Cubes, when he was putting together this, two things drew me to it. One is the entire space had a lot of potential, intellectually as well as business-wise. More important, the second one, there was a team that was coming together, a professional team that I had a lot of faith and confidence in. And I think that magic combination made me jump into it.
Okay. And you've been at it for the last, what, 3-4 years now?
Yeah, 3-4 years.
So, how has the experience been?
Oh, very, very, very exciting. Very selfishly, I've learned so much. Every new assignment that you go to, there's so much to learn, right? And there's so much to give back. That's been nice. The other thing that's been nice is actually having accountability for a business when someone comes and says, my sisters, and for a set of people who are working with you. So 60, 70 people, you suddenly realize huge responsibility of your families, right? And that's a very, very different kind of thrill that you have. And the last is, over a period of time, you realize that you can come out with models or certain ideas, we'll talk about ideas later, but which can change things dramatically, right? And you can do it in various ways. You can do it when you're an entrepreneur, whether you're within a firm, but the fact is, when you're an entrepreneur, I think there's that much more riding to make it succeed, right? You cannot stop. You cannot stop at 99. You have to make it 100. So I remember the story about two gardeners clipping a hedge, and they were asked, somebody came and asked him, so when do you finish clipping? He looks at his watch and says 5 o'clock. He asked the other guy, when do you finish clipping? He looks at the hedge and says, when this gets done. right? The entrepreneur is the guy who says when this gets done.
Great story. So, I mean, obviously that sort of encompasses the other question I was going to ask you as well. But is there a message for those of us who are looking to become entrepreneurs, right? And there's a lot of us out there in the corporate world who were in the corporate world that sort of came out and did that. What would you say to them?
I mean, Rajiv, you and I are in the same boat, and I'm sure there's so many things that go on in a person's head before we take that leap. Am I financially comfortable? I think that's one of the uppermost things, especially if you're in the corporate world. I'm not talking about us who are 20 and starting off. I'm talking about us who are 30 or 40 or 45 and then starting off. We always want to have that financial net. I'm going to say most of us can jump. Just do it, right? As long as you have a reasonably good idea, don't bother about your financial net, but make sure you get your personal net in place. Make sure you talk to your spouse, your in-laws, your parents, because that support you need much more than the financial support. And balance that, the rest of it with a good idea, etc. you will anyway do. So that's the only thing you need to do.
Perfect. Okay guys, I think that was a very interesting viewpoint, and if you can reach out to Anand on his website, which is www.activecubes.com. Right?
That's right.
And who knows, if he's happy and if he's excited and if he's made some money, he might invite you to his grandmom's estate in Kurg, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh yes, so Rajiv and I headed out there, but